So syringe pumps look like this. We use them for kids for infusions of amounts less than 50 mLs. So not for continuous infusions less than 50 mLs an hour, but for like antibiotics. So your antibiotic will come up in a syringe unless it's ampicillin. Ampicillin you'll have to mix yourself because you only have about a half an hour half-life. So my medicine will come up in a syringe, and then I need syringe pump tubing. There's two different sizes of syringe pump tubing. The one you want has a filter and a little blue clip, and it's thinner. So this is the syringe pump tubing I want. Because I'm working in small amounts for this 3-year-old who weighs 17.5 kilos, I'm looking at about an 11 ml infusion. I need to account for the 0.7 mLs that are in my tubing. So I either need to prime through the tubing with my antibiotic and then set it to infuse the amount, or I need to add 0.7, or I need to do a flush to make sure that that last 0.7 is out. One of those three methods. You don't want to lose even that 0.7 mLs that you have. So I would take the cap off my syringe. I'm going to add on my syringe pump tubing, and in my method I'll probably go ahead and prime through my tubing with my antibiotic. So then I need to set up my pump. So my syringe is going to fit into this holder here. This is an Alaris. It's going to have its little wings sit here. And then I'm going to put this on. So I've twisted and held down, and then this is what's going to hold it in. So I've got 3 steps. My wings are fitting securely under this gray neck. I have twisted this and pulled it down so that it's going to push my lever, my syringe pump on, and then this is holding the syringe in place. This end here, once it's primed with something, gets attached to the patient either through a saline lock or to the blue part of their IV. So this is attached to my patient. My syringe is in, and now I'm going to set it up. To do so, you're going to need to know the patient's weight, usually their weight on admission, the milligrams of your dose, and an idea of how much diluent, which is usually maybe 0.1 or 2 less than the actual amount in your syringe. So you're going to start by system on. So here's my system on button. It's not real obvious. Everything beeps. The silence button, by the way, is over here. You should definitely know where it is. This is a new patient, yes. And it's asking me, because this is the last profile I had, is this correct? Is this a peds patient? If I said no, it's going to give me all the patients. So your choices generally are going to be infants less than a year, neonates, or peds 1 to 12. So for this, my patient's 3, so I'm going to pick the peds 1 to 12. You're often in that infant under a year mode. So I have hit that to select, and then I'm going to have to hit confirm. And this is the way it all works with the Alaris pumps. I'm going to hit confirm. I'm going to exit through this patient ID. We don't use that functionality here. And then I need to pick my channel. So it's saying A, and so I'm going to go over here to this is channel A. I'm going to hit channel select. Then based on how this syringe fits in here, it's going to deduce what kind of syringe. So this is a 50 to 60, so I'm going to click on it. That's going to highlight it. I'm going to hit confirm. And then I have 2 choices. A guardrail drug should always be your best choice, but there's also a basic infusion if your guardrails just won't work. You should always have a double check, regardless of whether your guardrails work or not. Yep, see how quickly you need the silence. So all these meds will need a double check. And you should always double or triple check if your guardrails won't work, and you should let your educator know, because we can work with pharmacy and figure out why it isn't working. So guardrails, my med is ceftriaxone, which is going to fit in that first section, so I may as well just hit down. So I've got ceftriaxone. It's asking if it was set up as a milligram per ml, and it was. So I'm going to hit yes. And then it's asking me for my drug amount. So my drug amount is 436. And then my diluent volume, I'm going to assume is somewhere around, my total volume should be about, my ordered volume was 10.9, so I'm going to say I probably had 10.8 of volume diluent. And then my patient's weight was 17.5 kilos. This is always in kilos. And then once I've got all that together, I'm going to hit next. It almost is always a little off on its guardrails. As long as your guardrails are yellow, you're okay. If it's red, you're going to have to figure out how it didn't reprogram. So I'm going to hit yes. And then my volume to be infused is where I'm going to go next. So my volume to be infused, I have available 12.4. My ordered amount is 10.9. So that is what I'm going to use for this, because I've already primed it through with my antibiotic. I want to give an additional 10.9 because that 0.7 that I started with is also going to be 0.7 that's going to get trapped in my tubing. So 10.9. And see how my rate has started as I have hit the duration. So I'm going to hit start, and it's going to start infusing. And I'm going to get here a list, of what's going in. So ceftriaxone, it's going in at 21.8. That should also match your MAR. It's giving me my milligram per kilogram, and then it's infusing. And it will continue just circling through that the whole time it's infusing. If I need to pause it, I do have a pause. So if I needed to check my site, it's alarming, something's going on, I need to change the kid's diaper or shirt or something, I can pause it, and then I would use this button to restart. The other button you use a lot is the silence. And then when it's done, it will alarm. So especially if you're working night shift, it's a good idea to figure out how long this is supposed to go in over and set your alarm on a phone or something for a couple minutes before that, so you can be ready to take it down as it goes. So if I have instilled my 0.7, if I have primed this through with antibiotic, at the end of my infusion, all I need to do is actually take down the tubing and flush the site if they're a saline lock, or just take it down if they have running IV fluids. I don't need to run a flush at the same rate because that antibiotic has already gone in. And holding it down, and that's going to power it down. If I wanted to flush it with saline, I had not instilled the 0.7 ahead of time, I wanted to use this flush functionality, then I am going to insert this new syringe in. Sometimes they say no pre-filled syringes. They seem to work fine with the pre-filled syringes, so I think the new pre-filled syringes work pretty well with it. Then I'm just going to use the same rate, and I'm going to use it as a basic infusion. So this is also your tutorial. If you did need to use the basic infusion, you can, but I really discourage using it routinely. So this is not a new patient. It's still a peds patient. So this is A. I'm going to channel select. I have a 10 ml syringe, so I'm going to hit confirm. I'm going to do basic infusion, and my rate was about 21 if I remember correctly, and my volume to be infused is 0.7. So then I would hit start, and it's going to infuse as a basic infusion. So if you ever did need to do a basic infusion, that's how it works.